High up in the Ethiopian mountains, stories are whispered about ancient kings and queens. Tall monuments and hidden tombs hold secrets of a royal family that goes back thousands of years. This is the story of the Solomonic Dynasty, a line of rulers who say they are descended from the famous King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. The story, told over many years, speaks of a queen known for her wisdom and kindness. She traveled from her faraway kingdom in Ethiopia to Jerusalem because she had heard of King Solomon's wisdom. Their meeting was a meeting of great minds, and they grew to respect each other. Solomon, impressed by the queen, shared his knowledge with her. From this famous meeting, a son was born, Menelik I. He would be the first king of the Solomonic Dynasty, carrying the wisdom of Solomon and the legacy of Sheba's kingdom. Menelik's birthright, a copy of the Ark of the Covenant, became a holy symbol of the dynasty. The story of Solomon and Sheba is more than just history. It is part of Ethiopia's culture. It tells of a royal family blessed by God and destined for greatness. This story, passed down through stories and religious writings, created the foundation for hundreds of years of Solomonic rule. It is a tradition that still inspires Ethiopia today. Many years passed, and the Solomonic dynasty faced hard times. Groups who wanted power threatened the royal family. But the spirit of Solomon and Sheba lived on. It became strong again in 1270 AD with Yakuno Amlak. Yakuno Amlak, a nobleman who said he was a direct descendant of the Solomonic kings, challenged the Zagwe dynasty, who were ruling at the time. He got the support of the people, reminding them of the Solomonic family. His victory was a very important time in Ethiopian history, putting the Solomonic dynasty back in power. With Yakuno Amlak as ruler, the Solomonic dynasty grew stronger. He built a new capital city and ordered the construction of beautiful churches and monasteries. Art and literature became popular because the king supported them, and the dynasty felt powerful again. Yakuno Amlak's rule was a time of growth. He made friends with nearby kingdoms and protected Ethiopia's borders. He started a golden age for the Solomonic dynasty, a time of peace, wealth, and a strong Ethiopian culture. Other Solomonic rulers who came after him continued his work, protecting their lands and making their kingdom more powerful in the Horn of Africa. Even though the Solomonic dynasty was thought to be chosen by God, it still had many enemies. From the flatlands in the east to the mountains in the west, dangers appeared, testing the emperors. The most dangerous was Ahmed Gran, a Somali warlord who wanted to conquer Ethiopia and make everyone follow Islam. In the 1500s, Gran's armies attacked the Ethiopian highlands, destroying everything in their path. Churches and monasteries, important places for Ethiopian culture and religion, were burned to the ground. The Solomonic dynasty was almost destroyed. Even though they had smaller armies and fewer weapons, the Ethiopian emperors refused to give up. They called their armies together, asking for the strength of their ancestors to protect their land. Stories from that time tell of great bravery, of small groups of Ethiopian warriors fighting off huge armies. During all the fighting, one battle changed everything, the Battle of Daga in 1543. Here, the Ethiopian forces, helped by Portuguese soldiers with guns, finally defeated Gran's army. The victory at Daga ended Gran's attacks and saved the Solomonic dynasty. The 1800s began with European countries racing to take over Africa. These countries wanted power and took land, resources, and controlled the people. Ethiopia, one of the few free countries in Africa, became a target for Italy. Menelik II, a smart and strong leader, became the Solomonic emperor in 1889. He knew Italy wanted to take over Ethiopia, so he got his country ready to fight. He made his army stronger, made friends with other kingdoms, and told his people to defend their land. The Battle of Adwa, fought on March 1, 1896, is a very important day in African history. Ethiopian forces, led by Menelik, beat the Italian army. Adwa was a huge victory, showing how strong the Ethiopian army was and how brave its people were. The victory at Adwa surprised the world. It showed that European armies could be defeated, and gave hope to people in other countries controlled by Europeans. Menelik II, seen as a hero, kept Ethiopia free. The 1900s brought a new time for the Solomonic Dynasty. Haile Selassie I, crowned emperor in 1930, wanted to modernize Ethiopia and make it important in the world. He created a constitution, made changes to help people, and wanted all of Africa to unite. Sadly, Italy attacked Ethiopia in 1935. Haile Selassie had to leave Ethiopia, but he didn't give up on his people. In 1936 he went to Geneva to speak to the League of Nations. His speech was powerful and sad, and people all over the world listened. He spoke bravely about the terrible things happening to his people, the bombing of cities and the use of poisonous gas. He reminded the world that it was their job to protect the weak and follow international law. Haile Selassie's speech was very important. Even though it didn't stop Italy from taking over Ethiopia, it made people around the world angry about what Italy was doing. His words warned everyone about the dangers of ignoring bullies and the terrible things that happen when aggression isn't stopped. You can see the Solomonic Dynasty's legacy all over Ethiopia. From the tall monuments in Aksum to the churches carved into rocks in Lalibela, the country shows the dynasty's lasting impact. These amazing buildings, made by skilled workers, show the passage of time and the successes of the Solomonic rulers. In the old city of Gondar, the royal enclosure, called the Fasıl Gebi, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its palaces, castles, and churches, a mix of different architectural styles, show how the dynasty welcomed ideas from other cultures. The spirit of the Solomonic dynasty also lives in the music and traditions of the Ethiopian people. The chants of priests, the music of the Masenko, and the dances passed down over many years show a rich culture shaped by the Solomonic dynasty. The land itself tells the dynasty's story. The Simeon Mountains, where the Blue Nile starts, protected the empire. The Danakil Depression, one of the hottest places on earth, tested the strength of the Ethiopian people and reminds us of the difficulties they overcame. The Solomonic dynasty, lasting for thousands of years, shows the power of faith, resilience, and fighting for what is right. From Solomon and Sheba to Haile Selassie's speech to the world, the dynasty's story is one of overcoming challenges, believing in God's plan, and a deep love for Ethiopia. The Solomonic emperors, though imperfect like everyone, changed their nation and the world. They protected their country from invaders, kept their culture alive, and fought for freedom. Their legacy inspires Ethiopians today, reminding them of their history and their potential. The Solomonic dynasty may be gone, but its spirit lives on. It lives on in the sounds of ancient songs, in the bright colors of traditional clothing, and in the hearts of people who remember their past as they build a better future. The story of the Solomonic dynasty is a story of hope, showing the strength of the human spirit and reminding us that even when things are very difficult, courage, faith, and believing in yourself can help you succeed.